fish heads.
Welcome.
Welcome
Waterbox
back.
Live.
Welcome back to another episode. Good to see y'all.
Yeah, we're talking about fish disease today, taking a look at our REEF LX here at the studio, and then also we're doing, of course, Q&A later in the episode, so make sure you drop your questions into the chat.
Yes, if you guys haven't already, as always, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It helps us out tremendously. Giving away some stuff today?
Yep, giving away 2 sets of Waterbox microfiber towels. So the currency to win, to have a chance to win, be active in the comments.
Yep.
Like the stream, hit the notifications, follow, all of the things. So just get in there, talk to each other, ask questions, all that, so that you're going to be your currency to win some nice microfiber towels. Yeah,
absolutely. Again, ask questions, you guys. It can be about the topic that we're talking about today. It can be about our aquariums, just anything like that. If you guys didn't watch last week,
shame on you.
Shame on you.
Just shame.
We launched the new Generation 2 of the Marine X.
Yes.
So if you haven't already, check out the website. You can get all the details there. And also definitely go back and watch last week. You'll get even more detail there as well. So the new updated Generation 2 Marine X is available.
The aluminum cabinet, frame cabinet, and it has that new color aspen that you see, which is extremely popular already.
Wildly popular.
Can't wait to see these out there and see what they do. It's such a pretty contrasting color for a cabinet. So definitely check that out if you have not seen what we have improved on the Marine X.
Yep. And if you guys were around last week or not, we had a lot of questions about this. Will the all-in-one also be offered with the aluminum cabinets? And the answer is yes. We have that also available for pre-order now on the website. If you want to get the new aluminum cabinetry in white, black, or aspen, you can do that now. So head over to the website and get all the details there for that. And then it is available, all the Marine X Generation 2 and the all-in-one available in all of our markets.
Yep, and inventory is arriving to all markets, so a lot of these are going to be shipping very, very soon for the pre-orders, so definitely jump in there, get yours reserved. An aluminum cabinet, aluminum frame is such a great improvement. We talk a lot about the features of that in last week's stream, but it's something that people have asked for. We listen. As we always say, drop us your suggestions. Just keep bringing them up. We are always listening. So I'm really excited. Everyone seems extremely happy with the change on the all-in-one and the Marine X line.
Yeah, and they're already wildly popular, so if you are looking to get into one on this first round, just do it quick.
Yep, absolutely. So a lot of you may remember, if you watched on the streams a lot, is in about mid-December, we set up the REEF LX 290.6 here at the office. And what we did is we actually combined the REEF DX 180.5 and the Infinia 215.5 into the LX. We did show it in one of our office overview streams where we showed all the aquariums around here. But thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and do a check-in. That correlates with our topic today of fish disease as well.
Yep.
So we're going to take a quick look at how the REEF LX is doing. Like I said, it's kind of a combination of the 2 tanks since mid-December. So it's got a few months under its belt. It's looking good.
Yeah, it looks
very
great.
Pretty. The corals are happy. They're filling in. And you can kind of see here that massive bubble coral that's made its way from our original Dream Build 220 reef. Is still in here, kicking, and it's huge. That thing's a solid 1+ foot across. It's got its own cave. And we've got our Euphilia garden on one side, a whole bunch of hammers and frog spawns and torches over in there. And then just a lot of mix of softies and leathers and that kind of stuff. So mixed reef, not really going for any SBFs in this system. Really just want to keep it kind of a lower maintenance LPS softy tank. But we have some beautiful big leathers in our tanks over the years. So they kind of all made their way in here. And you can see there's some very big, bright green ones.
They look great.
Yeah, so there's plenty of room in here for them. I'm going to let them fill in and grow. And let that Euphilia garden just continue to branch out and get larger as well. We do have a lot more space to put some corals in here, so we got to do another coral load up in this coming up pretty soon. There's that bubble coral. Some beautiful rhodactis mushrooms off to the bottom there as well.
How long have we had that bubble coral? Years.
It's been years. It was in the 220 Dream Build. That's probably at least 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was decent size. It was like size of your hands when we got it. But every tank it goes into, I have to make a special designated area because it is so big. And of course, your star polyps.
My favorite.
I got you a bridge of star polyps in this one.
Love it.
Some more nice leathers, like cabbage leathers and stuff like that. So wanted something with a big tank to just be able to fill in really nicely, have some bright colors. But as you can see, overall, aquarium's doing really good as far as the coral goes. Everyone's happy. And the clownfish loves his little hammers and stuff.
Euphilia garden.
That's where he lives and will not leave. But with clownfish, they'll host whatever they want.
I like how in some of the more recent builds, you kind of like dedicate certain areas to like soft corals or euphilia.
Yeah.
I like that. It's pretty cool. Rather than just kind of like mixing them up all over the
Sporadically
place.
putting them around. So, tank's looking good. Corals are very happy. But you might notice our fish count seems a little low.
Yeah.
There's some people missing. Well, some fish, not people, but. So that's going to take us what we're going to talk about today is fish disease. How do you notice it? What do you do? What causes it? I don't care how long you're in the hobby. If you're new or if you've been in it for 20 some odd years like I have and you have, it happens. To the best of the best, things do happen. So in the LX, kind of where I guess we can say it all started is when we combined the two tanks together, there was a lot of tanks that had their own groupings that then got brought together. And I think it's just a little bit of aggression and territory. Inner workings cause a lot of stress onto the fish. So we're going to talk about things that cause it, what we did, things for you guys to look at, ways to prevent or help it. We're not going to go super detailed into it because there's a lot of ways, a lot of different medications.
We'd be here for probably hours.
We could be here for days. And then also people would then disagree with certain ways of doing it because there is a lot of ways. There is a lot of medications. There's a lot of treatment options. So we're just going to give you kind of general info and kind of what we did to get our fish back on track after going through some disease issues. All right, so let's first, why do fish get sick? First one is most obvious, you buy a fish that is sick. And we have always talked really, really importantly on how get your livestock from a trusted source. Get it from a store or online place that goes through proper quarantining process, won't send out a sick fish. If it's from your local store, closely look at that fish, ask what their medication protocol is on new ones that come in, and also ask for your fish to be fed in front of you. A fish not eating is definitely a big sign of stress. So you don't want to take a stressed fish, even if they look healthy, and then put them into a new environment because that additional stress is probably your second most common reason for fish getting sick is stress. And this can be from things such as aggression between fish, which is I think what we ran into mostly with ours. A fish that's constantly getting picked on or multiple fish picking on each other brings a lot of stress. Stress lowers immunity. You also then have things like water quality. If your water is off, your tank isn't cycled, you put fish in there, or your temperature, fluctuations are really high, something happened, even if you lose power and your temperature plummets or goes higher. Those are all things that can really trigger stress and disease in your fish. So kind of knowing what started the disease process helps you correct it and then work to fight it off as well. Because if you know, all right, this is because of water quality, you can do all the treating you want for that fish, but you're not going to solve it altogether if the stress issue is still there. So, why they get sick isn't good to know. Noticing it whenever it first starts to happen. That's why it's important, even if you're busy and you don't have maintenance on that day, take a quick look at your fish, especially during feeding time. Did everyone come out to eat? Is everyone swimming around real active? Is someone hiding in the back for some reason? Do you notice any spots on them, cloudiness, anything with their skin? And these can all be indicators to catch a disease happening early. And that's going to help your chances a lot too in getting your fish better. So the earlier you catch it.
So visual cues, we talk about that a lot, even with corals, is make sure you're, monitoring, observing your tank on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That goes for fish too.
Good for fish too, corals too, so you know if they're involved with the water. Visual inspection, like I said, a lot of times you don't have to touch your tank on a daily, except for throwing some food in, but always take a nice close look at everything. and see what's going on to help you kind of analyze corals or fish-wise if everyone's happy or not.
Yep.
All right, treating disease. There's a lot of ways, a lot of opinions. So in our situation, I'm going to kind of base it off of what happened with us is we had the sailfin tang kind of hiding out for a day or two. Then we got a good look. This thing had a whole bunch of spots, nice ick spots. Rustin actually sent me a picture, happened to be in on a Friday or Saturday over the weekend, and says, sailfin don't look so good. And that's one of the things, like over the weekend, like we're not here daily to check on him, unfortunately he was. So at that point in time, no one else really looked to have much issue. So I think just tangs, being tangs, ganged up on the sailfin, he was the stressed one. What we did first, checked water quality, checked everything else, make sure it's good, that the heaters weren't off, anything weird like that. And then for simplicity, without wrecking that tank, can't pull a fish out. Not easily. So since he was the only one, we went ahead and did proactively treating with garlic in the food. Mm-hmm. So you can add some to the water, you can soak their food. Garlic is a natural immune booster, helps thicken up their slime coat, and it also increases appetite. So that's kind of like a good first defense. It's not putting medications into your tank. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just good for your fish. Never a bad idea to always feed with garlic.
Right.
So it's one of those natural things.
I just have a question. Is it minced garlic, or do you take garlic cloves and chop them up?
Good question.
All right, if you're super, budget friendly or a DIY kind of person, you could go and press your own garlic and get the oils out of it. I highly suggest not doing this and then instead spending the $20 on a really nice bottle of garlic extract. I mean, they make it for fish.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a standard garlic extract that doesn't have a whole bunch of preservatives could be used. But you get a bottle that's like this big. It's like 30 mLs. I feel like you'd press a lot of garlic to get that.
Yeah, a lot.
And that would be a really, so just buy the one. It's super, like when you do it, the whole building smells like garlic.
That's funny.
Everything is
I remember
very
walking
strong.
in and being like, there must be a sick fish or something like that because I smelled garlic. I mean, and I'm assuming, I think you were just dosing it into the tank at the time. But,
put them in the tank, but also I take like the seaweed, put a drops on, let it soak in, soak their food as well, so it's getting to them. But yeah, it's potent.
Yeah, very potent.
Very potent. I love the smell of garlic, so I'm not too bad with it, but anyone walking in might be a little offended. So the garlic was doing really good as far as helping kind of with the ick. The few spots were showing up on other ones, but not enough to cause any issue. And we then had, because of, this is kind of where I think most diseases go bad, is they get one, but then they get this secondary bacterial infection. And that's what we kind of have because their immunity is lowered. Ick and stuff does mess with the slime coat. So we then came across a bacterial infection. These are a lot more aggressive than ick.
Yeah.
Like fish can hang on with ick and live with it, probably spots on them their entire life and not be that affected. I mean, some cases are worse than others. But bacterial infection came in. And that's where we actually had more issue as far as actual fish loss was there. So at that point, started using medication.
Yeah.
Now there's a ton of medications out there for parasites, bacterial infections, protozoa, all of that. Some are reef safe, some are not. So do be really cautious with what medications you pick. And always a word of wisdom, just because it says reef safe does not mean you might not have some issues with it. Either way, you're adding medicine to your aquarium. And it can throw off the balance. A lot of times you have to take out any carbon, turn off your protein skimmer, UV sterilizer, all that has to come off. So your water quality is going to then become a little bit tricky because you don't have any of that helping to remove waste. But a lot of reef safe ones still sensitive invertebrates may not fare well with it. You just want to be really, really cautious with using a medication tank wide. So even if it says reef safe, just be kind of prepared that some things may not react as well. So weird one was ours is all the corals for the most part seemed unfazed when we used the medication. But our one big toadstool leather just decided to get holes going in around it and dropping off new leathers.
It's like a reproducing.
He's reproducing, still fully open, still super happy. Just a weird reaction as soon as I started medicating that kind of started happening to just one leather, not the other ones. And like their Duncan coral wasn't too happy with our process either, but overall was all right.
That's a good example of corals that were still happy, but noticed that maybe there was something off. So it starts to.
And some corals are going to be way more sensitive. I feel like dosing a SBS system with medication is probably going to be a lot more risky than soft corals and like easy LPS, of course, because they're very forgiving for the most part.
Yeah.
So with ours, make sure I'm following. We went with metronidazole for this because it's parasite. No, it's parasite and bacterial. So figured since we were dealing with kind of a multiple things, we went with that option. It's one of those that is generally reef safe, of course, with some caution. But you can dose it like openly to the water column, and you can also mix it in with their food with the Focus product, and that way it's going direct into them as well. Kind of binds it to the food, which is always a good option. And once we started using that, it's like every 2 days, and you just kind of keep using it as long as you need. We definitely kind of stopped any progress, and then got the ones that were left kind of on the healing mend, and we continued to dose until all signs of it were gone. Precious Mango survived. She had herself some nice cloudy eyes and couldn't see for a little bit, but she's okay.
I was a little concerned.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little concerned about
Mango cannot.
If you guys don't know who Mango is my Naso tang that I've had since 2007. You can see her.
There she is.
Swimming around.
The original sailfin who started all this with disease, kicking and happy. We did lose a couple tangs, a couple clowns, and fox face. So, but the little bar gobies are in there. We got some of the tangs still. Shrimp are still happy. You know, so we did have some loss in there. As sad as it is.
Yeah, it's something that I think all aquarists will experience at some point or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have like a fish only, you have a lot more options as far as like aggressive medicating, because you don't have inverts and corals and stuff in there that you have to be real cautious with to worry about. But ways can you avoid, or like other things you can do to like not have this happen, or other ways you can kind of correct it, is of course buy those healthy livestock, and then quarantine or have a quarantine system set up. So quarantine in the very beginning when you get a fish is a great process, because you can medicate in the quarantine tank. You can use more aggressive ones, copper, formalin, stuff like that, based upon what you're trying to make sure they don't have. And then it can go into your display. So if you have that ability, it's a great option, because it does let you get through that whole life cycle if there was ick or other parasites, and you could treat them really effectively. Fun fact, because once ick is in your aquarium, once you can do reef safe medications, you can feed them the garlic, you can do all that stuff, and you may not see any ick, but once ick is in your system, it's always there. It's more in like a dormant state where there's so little of it that's not really doing anything. Because the only way is if you had ick in your system was to pull out all your fish for like 2-3 months and let it go fallow. That would kill off the parasite life cycle. So ours came from back when we first set up the big LX at the studio. We did have a small outbreak of ick. We didn't pull everybody in quarantine. We treated, got everyone good, but the stress of them combining back together and the stressful situation allowed the ick to become present. So unless every fish is quarantined, you basically always have that risk of something like ick showing up. And bacterial infections, just like with us, open wound or something like that can get bacterial infections. That's one of those that you can't really prevent that from happening, except keeping your fish healthy and unstressed and stuff like that. So
again, you guys, we are going to do a Q&A here in just a minute. If you got your questions, post them below. I see the chat's blowing up. I'm reading it a little bit here.
Yeah.
Casey, want to give a shout out to. He says that I need to get on my game. I'm learning from the best over here, so I'm very quiet. Jess has an enormous amount of experience dealing with fish disease and just any of this in general, so I listen.
Yeah.
It's time for me to listen. I'm learning, so.
You're one scrub.
What?
Like a
scrub.
Oh,
like
there's Well, yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of experience with it. Running stores and stuff like that, every fish that comes in, hundreds a week, and you've got to medicate, treat, and help people with their aquariums and stuff like that. Treat gives a lot of hands-on.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like, there's so many medication and other ways to kind of treat disease. So this isn't the only way. This isn't how every storybook, textbook case is going to go. But it's, I thought it was important that we talk about the fact that, yes, I mean, our tank's here, we maintain them, we have 20 years of experience doing this. It can still happen.
Yeah.
You can still lose fish. You can still have a disease outbreak, and you have to fight it and, protect the ones to get some to survive and stuff. So, I think people feel like one thing like that happens to them and they're very defeated. It happens to everybody. Anyone who says they've never had a fish disease, fish lost, or something else like that has not been doing it long enough or is lying. So it's going to happen.
I don't want to steal one of you
everybody.
guys' questions, but I like this one. Brad says, in hindsight, would you have treated differently?
I probably, if I knew that it was going to turn into a bacterial infection, because that isn't something that you usually always have happen with ick, I would have started the metronidazole as soon as I saw the first spots on the sailfin. But a lot of times, and my history is ick, I am not bothered by ick. Like, if a fish gets ick, I'm not that concerned for the most part, because usually they fight it off. If they're healthy, everything else is good. Simply some garlic, good feeding, raise your temperature up a few degrees. That's usually enough to help them fight it off.
Yeah.
And continue on and not have loss. But like I said, and it's the same thing with a lot of different diseases or stress. Like, that bacterial infection will get you so much faster than ick ever will. Yeah. And so once that popped up, that's when we lost a couple fish, right off the bat. And that's when we started medicating, and everything kind of started to work its way back up.
Question.
Keenan has a question.
Our production team has got the questions.
I think they're learning today, too.
Yeah.
A little bit of learning here. Of the fish that we lost, which one are you most saddened that we lost?
I'll let Rich answer that one.
Yeah, so of the, Keenan's asking, of the fish that we lost, which one was the hardest one to lose? I'll be completely honest. This might sound kind of cold. I don't know exactly all the fish that were in that tank. But I do know
Fair.
my fish were in that tank. So there was a pair of clownfish that we lost that I've had for a while, which was a bummer.
Yeah.
But again, like, these things happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's not much you can do about it.
I wish I would have known, and I would have done like a rest in peace thing at the end of it. In black and white, memorial. In memoriam.
Yeah, no, I mean, once Mango started getting the cloudy eyes, I was like, oh God. I was like, I cannot let Mango.
DEFCON 3.
Like, it was DEFCON 3, like, all the medications, what should I do? And,
I saw the Amazon shipments coming in. There was like all these medications. I'm like, something's going down.
It's like, Mango, no. But she's good and kicking. And they said, I think it was probably 4 or 5 fish that we ended up losing in there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Good question,
Keenan.
Not a
right.
happy question.
No.
No, not a happy question,
Not a
Keenan.
happy topic.
No.
Hey guys, we're giving away some microfiber towels at the end of the episodes. If you want some good old Waterbox towels to clean your water box, make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit its best friend, the notification bell, make friends in the comments, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just hanging out.
Just hang out. Let's do some questions. It's like, I'm here to learn, guys.
Yeah, I'm learning on camera instead of off camera like you guys.
All right, you guys ready for questions?
Yeah, we're ready.
Here we go.
What do you know about urchins?
A lot. What you want to know?
I know that sometimes they're sushi.
I don't know what the specific question would be, but a quick rundown of urchins. They are cool, kind of a pain in the butt. Most urchins will steal your stuff, which includes invertebrates. Your snails and hermits might go for rides upside down on their back. And
I like
they
that a
also
lot, actually. That's
love to
funny.
camouflage with your corals. If you have any loose, your zoanthids, your leather, your whatever is going to go roaming around the tank. And then it might just get dropped behind a rock to never be able to be gotten. Secondary thing is they do tend to eat a lot of coralline algae. If you do not have an established aquarium with a lot of coralline, you might see your rocks getting stripped of that good algae. And you want coralline because it combats all the bad algae that grows on your rock. So cool, but not cool.
Jess knows a lot about urchins. I know very little. Adriana says, a peninsula with aspen cabinet available. Not quite yet.
No. Stay tuned, possibly.
Yeah. Do the new aluminum stands have different leveling feet?
Well, it's the same leveling feet as our current aluminum cabinets. That's like the Infinity and the LX.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have, no, they're not as big. No. Yeah, they're
Slightly
different, but they're not as big as the Infinity LX ones. But they are different than the ones that are on the wood cabinets.
Yeah.
I confused myself on that one.
Jamie says, here's my question. I have a full-grown green terror. He has always been a reluctant eater, but in the past 3 days has become all about eating instead of being shy. He is always looking to eat.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's all. I mean, it's good.
What's a green?
Yeah, what's a green terror?
Freshwater.
It's a type of like cichlid, South American.
South American cichlid, yeah.
No, I mean that's good. Maybe he just finally got over his introvert personality and decided to be friendly.
Just took a little bit of time, I guess.
Yeah.
Evan's asking, I have a question. How do I catch a twin spot koi wrasse without removing all the rock work? He's fighting with a decent sized emerald crab. Bad decision I made leaving him inside.
Yeah. Well, this is gonna be fun. All right. So there are some fish traps that you can buy that are just made already. So you can do that. Is if you want to just do something that you can make yourself, that's a little bit cheaper. One thing that I always found that was really, really good about catching fish is, and usually not real big fish, so a little bit smaller. Take, you know those plastic Tupperware things that you put cereal in and they have one flip top? And it's like a rectangle shape? Perfect shape for catching fish. So put it in your tank, put a rock in it so it's weighed down, give the fish a day or two to like get used to it, because at first they're gonna be like, no, I'm not going near that. And then you start feeding in there. And only feed in there because fish are gonna follow where the food goes. Great thing about the shape of that is it doesn't have a big wide open top. It's a much smaller. So when the fish that you want goes in there, you can close that little bit of a lid. And usually it's enough time because of the shape that they'll usually bolt down versus up whenever they get spooked. And they'll dart down to where the rock or whatever is and get kind of confused and give you time to close the lid. It takes some patience, but it's the best container shape I've found to catch fish in a tank.
Thanks. Will the DX line be coming back?
No.
No.
It was limited.
It was a limited edition. And we stuck with our guns. Sorry. Our leather's tricky. I would like some in my first tank.
No, they're actually super easy. They do have a couple of special considerations. Is they do like decent flow, and they tend to kind of get bound up with their own mucus, even if like they're in higher flow. So a lot of times, especially toadstools, have these like big flat surface. The detritus and stuff settles. They kind of have like a mucus buildup, and if it's not removed well enough themselves or through flow, it kind of just starts to kind of coat them. And then you're like, okay, my leather's not opening. Almost will have a shiny little bit of a look to the top. So it's basically kind of closed in by its own like mucus and detritus. Take a soft bristle toothbrush, brush them off, get all that detritus and that layer off, and then they usually reopen. But make sure they're in good flow is the main thing with them.
DJ Mike Fury. What type of par are you running in that tank?
Do not know.
Who knows? It's a
I don't measure
mystery.
par.
Yeah.
I do not. Never have in a single tank I've owned.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you want to get into the nitty gritty, or just if you really just want to like
judge on how they're. I mean,
real
if it
scientific.
was a full SBS from top to bottom, I'd probably worry more about par. But in like mixed reefs and SBS at the top and middle, I judge it off of how happy they look and their growth, and then kind of go from there. But there's nothing wrong with using par meters, but I couldn't tell you on a single tank in my life what the par was.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, why do I never have algae in my aquarium? I have high nutrients, but no algae.
Generally, it means your cleanup crew is matched perfectly to your algae output, and also that you don't have excess phosphates. Nitrates and stuff doesn't necessarily promote algae nearly as much as phosphates do, and then just having the proper snails and crabs that are keeping it under control.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to be doing.
All right, Casey.
Casey, here's my question. How, if needed, do you remove the sump from the Infinia Peninsula 7225?
You would need to remove a front support bar. Do not do it when your aquarium is on the cabinet and full. It does need to be removed. Problem being is if you do take that bar out while your aquarium is full, that front beam might sag a little bit because it is a support bar. Now, will it hold while you do your process? Absolutely. When you go to put that beam back up, you're going to have a real hard time if it did bow down at all, any movement to get that beam back in there. So the tank should not be on it or full when you remove it.
Yeah. Is there any diseases prevalent in the cleanup crew community?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I'm sure there are parasites that exist that come in with crabs and shrimp. I know there are, they're not usually like a contagious thing, but like cleaner shrimp sometimes, or blood shrimp, you'll get it and you'll like look at its side and it actually has like a lump on one of its sides. It's actually a parasite that's in his shell, like on him. I'm sure hermit crabs and all those have some kind of parasitic predators. Not real commonly seen. I don't think it's something that like if you have it, it spreads to your whole cleanup crew. And I think also, especially with snails and crabs, they're not real long-lived for the most part. You know, they're something you kind of replace regularly. So I don't think they're ever like studied long enough in your aquarium to like notice if there was some kind of like parasitic issue with them, but never really been a concern. You don't quarantine inverts or anything like that either.
Thank you, Cole. Question. What do you find easier, managing ick or eradicating it with fallow period?
Problem is, most people can't do a fallow period. Okay, let's just say, for example, our 290-gallon aquarium here that had lots of tanks and stuff. In order to pull the fish out of there, put them through quarantine, and leave that fallow, you'd have to have something set up at least 7,500 gallons that you could medicate, water change regularly, and also have established enough to handle the bio load or do like daily water changes. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times it's not really practical. If you have like 2 clowns you have to pull or something, a little bit easier. I personally, for the most part, if have ick like we did previously, you know, manage it, keep the fish healthy, and try to avoid the issues that can bring the ick outbreak back. It's not a perfect system though, but personally having something set up to be able to quarantine 10 large fish is a little bit harder. If you can, it's the most long-term solution.
Yeah. Because
you can medicate them in the process and then leave your tank fallow. That's a tough one.
Last question.
Right now I have a black trigger who swims along the bottom of the tank and won't swim up or down. It's been like this for 2 months. I can't put my finger in it. Any advice on it? Any advice?
I could put your finger in it.
Don't do that.
Okay, so I would assume that beforehand he swam normally and now he doesn't. I'm gonna assume, or you got him and he only swims like this from the beginning. Usually, if it's a way of like them having issues swimming or their like patterns different, it's probably something to do with a swim bladder. But it's really hard to say without like, honestly, like autopsy or that kind of stuff. Like, it's really just as long as he can eat and swim and be functional, just let him do his thing. But if it's not diseased or anything and not really hindering his quality of life, let him be.
Cool.
All right.
Fish, man.
Fish, man. We got some towels to give away. Maybe.
Did you guys learn something? I did.
I did.
I think everyone in here did.
Raise your hand in the
If you
comments.
learned something, give us a thumbs up.
I'm glad that our production crew back here can be educated during the process as well.
All
right. Oh, it's all right. Ready for some towels?
Yeah, ready?
All right, ready?
Ivan and Casey. Casey, congratulations, you guys.
Woo!
Email winners@waterboxaquariums.com. We'll get you hooked up with your new Waterbox fresh towels.
Fresh towels. When you write in, please say preference of white or black and send me your address, and we'll get those sorted out for you.
These are available online if you want to pick them up too.
Yeah, 3
It's a
packs,
handy
like $10.
Yeah, handy little thing to have around.
Super
the aquarium.
soft. They're great for finish wiping of the aquarium and cabinet and stuff. Microfiber, nice, and not going to scratch anything.
Yeah.
All that. So,
If you guys didn't already, smash that like button, punch it, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. We genuinely appreciate you guys being here.
yeah.
Am I jumping the gun?
No, you are. Go check out the Marine X and All-in-One new upgraded versions as well. So go check them out, and we'll be back here next Thursday.
Take it easy, you guys.
See ya.
Thank you all for watching. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And also remember, you can visit us online at waterboxaquariums.com.
Also join our official Facebook group. Thanks for watching live. See you next week.